Okay, so it's recording. Hi, girls, and everyone that will watch in the future on replay. So we're going to be talking about how important it is to have a structured DMO and to be able to fit it into really busy lives. And this is coming from experience, not from like BS. It's coming from the fact that I have a really busy life and I had to find a way to feel like I'm doing it every day, because it really agitates me if I don't get it done, because there's nothing worse than feeling sad about something when you haven't even taken action. Because if you're not taking action, you can't be sad about the outcome. Recently, and it's been really working well for me, so that's why I'm sharing it. So the way I have now structured my DMO is into Carrie sharing the training with everyone. That's so funny. So the way I've structured my DMO now is breaking it up into pieces. For me, it works really well breaking up into morning, lunch, and dinner, or evening. But you could even split into 4 or 5 sections, whatever kind of lifestyle you have. Obviously, being a mum is different, doing shift work is different, doing a 9 to 5 is different, doing part-time is different. So split it up into whatever chunks, like bite-sized chunks that you feel works for you. So the way I did it is, like, I start work at 9. I'm obviously all of our lives are different, so you won't have the same DMO. It's not really possible, but if I tell you a little bit about mine, you'll start to realize where you can fit in time, just like pockets of your day. So for example, I start work at 9, but to miss all the traffic, I just get to work at 8. And then, some people might read a magazine for an hour and get a coffee with their mate. It's always made sense to me to do my Juice Plus work in the morning. And I always feel really like much more accomplished when I'm sitting at my desk and I can't do it because I really want to. At least I know I've done my morning bit. Makes you feel good. Makes me feel good. So I've actually always done that one. But now I've made it much more structured than that. So my morning one stays. It's always been like that. So that's already 1 hour in the morning. Otherwise I'd just be sitting in my car. So for other people, it might be a case of just get up half an hour earlier. If you, like, I do nothing else. I don't let anything else distract me for that hour. It's about knowing what you're doing during that hour. So, oh yeah, I was about to move on. So on my notes on my phone, because that's just where I like to keep it. I like it to be there, ready for me to look at whenever I need, wherever I am. It'll say morning tasks, and I have, I think, 5 or 6 points. And to me, it's much more manageable to look at than a whole list of things. Like my DMO, I have to do all of this today. It's like scary and overwhelming. So my morning tasks, I have about 5 or 6 things, I think, of what I do in the morning. If you want to know what they are, I can send you an actual screenshot, because it'll work differently for everyone. And when I do that, I actually feel like I do it before the hour's up. So most days, I'm usually starting on my lunch DMO in the morning because I've been so focused. Instead of distracting yourself with just looking on Facebook and being like, oh yeah, I better answer a message, I have my number 1 task, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I go through them in that order usually. If I'm feeling a bit creative, I will go random, but I make sure I do the 5 or 6. And yeah, I always feel like I have more time, which for someone as busy as me, having extra time is really, really precious and rare. So then I can sometimes move on to my lunch task before I've even finished my morning one. Before I've even started work in the morning. Okay, so that's morning, tick. You've already done, like, for me, I've already done a third of my DMO before 9 o'clock. My lunch, I get 1 hour. Obviously, everyone's is different, so that's what I mean about it being adaptable and moldable to, like, your life. So obviously, 10 minutes of my lunch break, I'm eating. I need to eat. So then I have about 50 minutes to do lunch DMO. and I sit somewhere peaceful. I don't hang out with people. And obviously, people have different preferences. Like, you might want to hang out with your workmates, but my work friends aren't going to change my life. So I go off to like a peaceful place. I have my notebook, whatever I need for my lunch DMO. And yeah, I have about another 5 or 6 things on my lunch DMO. Yeah, nothing to add about that. And obviously it's broken up in my notes, morning, lunch, evening. Sometimes I tick them off, but I'm getting so used to it now. In my head, I know when I've done number 1, number 2, number 3, and I just know. And then I finish work at 5. So instead of just driving home, even though I set out my structured evening DMO, I was finding that when I get home, I want to hang out the washing, or I've got 10 million other like lifestyle related things to do. And we're only human, like, and when you have too much on your mind, you're so like sporadic and just, you don't really know what you're doing. So you're not even doing that job properly, never mind the business stuff. So actually what I have started doing is, obviously now it's sunny, I don't sit in my car, but between like 5 and 6, sometimes I go over that because I'm on like a roll and I'm really enjoying it. I stay obviously in my car, or I've got like a little bench area at my work, again with my notepad or whatever I need. And then I do my work solidly before I go home. Not only do I miss the traffic, but I feel like then when I get home, I've already set myself up for an evening. I've done my DMO, I've done the basic essentials, which makes you feel good. Even if I have a really, really busy evening then, like, and I do say nothing, which is rare, but you know, can happen. I've grown my business that day because I've done it in chunks and I've not let the day run away with me, which easily can happen. So yeah, after work, before I even move to go home, that's what I've done. And then obviously throughout the evening when I'm doing stuff like going to the cinema or posting a picture of my dinner, or you know, all of that, that's just little breaks when I pick up my phone and I do that. Or you know, if someone comes through with an order, obviously I don't wait till tomorrow, I do it like as soon as I can. But at least then for me, it makes me feel like my business is growing every day, whether that's slow and steady, small and steady, whatever. At least you know you've done it that day. And I think it's quite manageable to find little pockets of your day. So obviously in total, my basic DMO would be an hour in the morning, 50 minutes at lunch, and an hour in the evening. So it's almost 3 hours. Which if you try and do it in one chunk is like a really long time and you'd probably be bored and tired. So I find it really manageable. And then when I get home, obviously we have boyfriends and friends and family, and maybe we want to spend some time with ourselves. So when you get home, at least, or if you are home, if you're staying at home, I'm talking about me going to work. If you say don't finish work at 5, but your kids take a nap at 5 or something, then find a little pocket where you've got each part of the day covered, because obviously people's messages come in at various times of the day, and if you're catching each of those, you're not going to miss many messages, and it's not going to go a long time without speaking to someone really. Yeah, that's that. And then once a week now, so I have my once a week DMO, because there's some tasks that just take a lot longer and don't really fit into my everyday. It just wouldn't work right now. So once a week, it's tonight. My night is tonight, and I'm keeping it as Monday. So you can kind of choose whatever day works for you. And I have a massive Juice Plus night. So obviously I'm doing the call. I got stuck in traffic, but I did have potential calls, business calls, arranged, say half an hour slots. And then I know that I'm free on Mondays because I am. And everyone knows you can't meet me on a Monday. Like it's just that now. So where was I going with that? Let's have a look what I do. I need to look what I do. So I've got here like huge follow-up session. So say your notepads or your Excel spreadsheet, I know Paulina already does this, go back 2 weeks and see who you haven't spoken to. They might have forgotten to message you, but simply want to talk to you, but actually just forgot. My phone often doesn't show me messages, which is obviously like lethal in this business, but it can happen to people. Plan anything JP related. So I've got like events, when I'm going to one, when I'm hosting one. These things I'm going to be doing on Mondays. So I need to plan my next event tonight. I've also put add 50 new Facebook friends, as in, because I normally am adding in 10s, 20s, 30, my maximum during the day. But say on an evening like this, I'll try and add a lot more. Write down my weekly goals. I think everyone needs a day like this, because otherwise you're just floating. I don't know how long I've been on this call. Oh well. Otherwise you're just floating. If you're not writing down your weekly goals, even like not business related, know what kind of outcomes you want for the week, whether it's tidy the garden, like give people lots more value this week, or get myself back on routine, or practice gratitude a lot more this week, things like this. But anyway, yeah, your outcomes for the week, I think on one day of the week, make sure you're doing them. Tony Robbins and things kind of recommend reading your goals every day. It's something that I want to start doing, but I need to figure out where and kind of when. And now I also have a mindful journal, which has nothing to do with the business, but I quite like it because I can write about whatever I want, whatever I'm thinking about. Obviously, sometimes it relates to the business because I'm excited or got plans and stuff like that. But it is actually good to just take time to be with yourself. So I fit it in on this day. Yeah, training calls. And also on a day like this, I'd probably get ready some content for customers, say like foods to eat for clearer skin, you know, on like a little image just to send people. It's nice and easy, or to post in like our support group. Yeah, like doing material and stuff like this, and paids and stuff like that. So kind of like an admin day, with a bit of mindfulness, which is my once a week massive day, massive evening. And I think don't make it boring. Like I like surround myself with like my laptop, my books, reading as well. And like all my notebooks and all my colors, and you can get really fun with it. So make sure you have one day like this, because I think planning for the week, otherwise the weeks can just fly by. I honestly don't know where June like went, so it can happen, and it does happen. So planning it and knowing where you're going and knowing what you're going to do this week, even if it's just 3 things, you know, anything, just start feeling really accomplished and start knowing what you're actually working towards, and the actions you're going to take to do it. I don't know if I had more to say. Let's see. Oh, and also just for people on really like tight schedules, things like, you know, like interacting on your feed. So like your most recent feed, and they say for the Facebook algorithm, always interact on your stories and your feed before actually going in and doing a post or a live video or something. Because I think in that task you can get quite lost in just scrolling and thinking, yeah, I'm interacting. But then if you spend 40 minutes interacting, you literally could have wiped out half of your demo. So I actually put a timer on my phone for 5 solid minutes interacting, and I'm love, comment, love, comment, love, comment, love, comment, and then it goes off and you've done that bit. Because the algorithm, I'm sure it doesn't need lots of interacting, just needs interacting. So that really micromanage your time, because so a thing that we probably hear a lot, and what you might say to yourself is, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. We get so stressed about time, but you've got to kind of, when you say that to yourself, think, all right, well, that is the reason I'm doing this business. Like, it what's it, a catch-22? You have to sacrifice time now. So when I'm not, not hanging with my friends at lunch, I'm sacrificing that time, but for like lots more time, for like time freedom. I don't want a timed lunch hour, to be honest. I want to eat when I want and like relax when I want. So it's like swapping time for lots more time. So whenever you start to think, I don't have time, try and micromanage it, because it's all worth it. It's all building to something so much bigger for you. Obviously, I don't know what your goals are right here, right now, but you do. And if they're worth your time, then micromanage it. Get your morning routine straight, your evening routine straight. And when you're doing this DMO every day, it feels so much better than looking at a big list and thinking, oh, I did 3 things. And you're like, oh yeah, you're like, okay, that's all right. But when everyone's hitting promotion at the end of the month, or their commission's going up, and later down the line they're quitting their jobs and they're off on holiday and stuff, and you didn't micromanage your time, like, it's just going to be a whole different kind of outlook. So I think it's really important, and don't get me wrong, it's taken me this long to get to a structured DMO, but it's really, really working. I really, really like it, and I get overwhelmed really easy, and it helps me to not be overwhelmed and just do what I can within my time slots that I've set. And then you can enjoy your evening, say with like your kids or my boyfriend. You can enjoy it so much more, because I know I've done it. I'm not sitting there thinking, shit, I really want to do some more. Like, obviously you do. I do want to do some more, but like, at least I've done what I need to do. And if I have time for more, then that's a bonus. So I hope that was helpful. I'm gonna, oh, Carrie. Thank you. Questions maybe in the chat, or because obviously all our lives are different. We've got like mums and workers and non-workers and uni, everything. So I understand that it needs a bit of molding. So any questions in the chat, or Paulina, if you think of a general like FAQ, then yeah, do.
Hey, so no, I think like you explained everything in so much detail that there isn't a lot to question or to add. But the only thing is, like, you mentioned about Mondays being your night of like Juice Plus hardcore, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But an evening could be 1 hour, it could be 5 hours, or it could be up until 2 o'clock in the morning. So when you say Monday evening hardcore Juice Plus, how many hours do you actually put in to do all of the extra stuff, or how many hours do you find that you need to complete all the stuff that you want to do?
Obviously, I only recently implemented this when we were kind of talking about time managing, and obviously I'm not going to paint a pretty picture here. Like today I got stuck in traffic for 3 hours, so only just about got home for the call. So I skipped 2 business potential calls. I've already skipped let me think, 2 hours of what is my Juice Plus hardcore evening. So obviously some evenings won't go to plan. The universe obviously is telling you something, but it's my evening, as in when I don't plan to say meet anyone, or I want to go to the gym but I won't go to the gym, these kind of things. I just prioritize it. So tonight, now after this call, but obviously don't sacrifice your sleep too. Like, I think that's important as well. Otherwise you're not working to your full potential. So you're getting my full life now. I will probably do it until like 10:30 tonight, because I've missed my 2 hours earlier, and then shower bed by like 11, I don't know. But I'd say I started at 6, which would be probably my normal plan. 7, 8, 9. The other day I did till about 9, because I remember cooking dinner, so that's 3 hours. I remember cooking after that, but then I did more after dinner. So I don't know, it depends if you get in the flow. Like when I was in the flow, I nearly didn't cook dinner basically, so I had to remind me to eat. So it depends. But I had a lot of messages to go through. I remember doing an interactive sort of post, and it generated lots of interest. Or my poll, that was it. And I wanted to get back to everyone, no matter what that evening. I was getting back to everyone. So 3 hours isn't really an evening, isn't it? But I guess it's like power slot, like not power hour. When I sit there and I mean I do it, I've obviously got water or maybe a green tea, but I don't move. Like when I mean I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And then obviously got up and made dinner and stuff. But I think trial and error would be my answer, because they're the things that I want to put in, because I think they're valuable, and they're the things that for me build up and I don't get time to do them. And I did read them out earlier. So obviously newer people might not be doing that yet, say like the 2 weekly follow-up or stuff like that, or planning events. I mean, there might be. I found it was just stuff that doesn't fit in my daytime DMO, like daily, but I want to be doing them. So it's something that I kind of, I added one today to that list, because I thought, yeah, I need to do that. It was unpaid, yeah. So I think just general things that you don't have time for every day, maybe add to your weekly power night, I kind of call it, and then, you know, trial and error it. Suppose it's like revising back in the day. Like, can you revise for 4 hours without a break? Don't know. Like, I don't know. Trial and error.
Yeah.
Because I want to do all of those things on my weekly list. And obviously they'd be beneficial things for everyone, but it depends what you want to do.
No, that explains it pretty well. And I think just to kind of like add on to everything, it's really great to have like a morning, lunch, and evening structure. It helped me loads since I've implemented it like a month ago, I think.
Yeah.
Or even a few weeks ago. But I think it's just like about finding. So for us, we know, because we're working, we know that in the morning we have the time, we have a lunch break, and then we have an evening slot.
Yeah.
But you can modify this. So for example, like for Carrie, or in general anyone, if you're doing something and you know that from this and this time you're definitely not free, and then you have 10 minutes free where you can just sit down and have a drink, or sit down and have a coffee, where you'd normally just sit and basically just do that, you can then schedule it in and put it on your DMO. So rather than putting morning, you can put between this and this time, or coffee break,
10 minutes
or
power,
whatever.
like,
yeah, exactly. So
work, really.
Yeah, I think going down to like a lot of detail would actually help.
Yeah.
Because having this morning, lunch, and evening where you actually don't have a morning break or lunch break or evening break, it won't help you either, because you'll still be finding that time. So I know that like one of the other girls from the team, what they did is they actually put in a time slot for each of the tasks, because she knows exactly when she's going to be free, or when she has 2 minutes to add 20 people, or when she has 5 minutes to respond to messages. So then she actually puts the time slot next to that task, rather than having it as morning, afternoon, evening. So it's just like, it really helps to be super specific and organized with the time slots that you have.
And obviously the first time I wrote that, like it might take you some time to sort of figure it out and like play with it. The first time I wrote it, I didn't know if it was going to work or how many things I'd have time for or not have time for. So play about with it. Like I just said, one day, can't remember what day of the week it was, I'm starting this thing today and I'm going to see how it works and then play with it from there. But obviously being more detailed will take more time, but being more detailed in the long run will be so much easier because our businesses are not the same, our lives are not the same. I don't feel good if Paulina does her DMO. Paulina will feel good if she does her DMO. Like, and you know, it's no skin off my nose. Like, I can help everyone, and you know, we can all help people, but there's no point in lying to anyone or yourself saying, yeah, I've done a bit of my DMO, done a bit. You either have done it or you haven't, and it's for you, it's for no one else. Just to add something different as well for maybe shift workers, on Sundays I do a 12-hour shift, and I have 2 half-an-hour breaks, but I've got to eat in them as well, so it's quite hard. I don't have a structured DMO for that because the times can be completely different. It's whenever they send me, but I know what I'm doing during those half-an-hour breaks, if you know what I mean. But it probably is something beneficial that I should write down, say first half an hour, second half an hour, because obviously on a 12-hour shift the morning, I do a bit before work, and then when I get home, obviously I'm tired, so I do a bit before bed. But so that's more like 4 half an hours, I'll say. Morning, half an hour before work, first break, second break, half an hour before bed, go to bed, like crash out. But so yeah, just for shift workers, it's not saying that has to be an hour. Well, you already said it actually, Paulina, but yeah, it's not saying it has to be anything specific. And obviously on those 12-hour days, I wish I could do more juice plussing, but I try my best, and then at least I know when I go to bed I did a bit, and then I pick it all back up on Monday. But yeah, if anyone else has anything to add, please do. Apart from that, I think I'm done.
Yeah, so it was really helpful. And I think just one thing that I had popped into my head again, sorry, it's like, it's great to have this DMO structure, and I think it kind of goes a lot better for people that want to do a lot more in this business. So if you are comfortable where you are, or if you just want to put in half an hour a day because you don't necessarily want to grow massively or quickly, or you don't want to make this your full-time career, then it's also about modifying the time for that. If you are just one of those people who is doing it just as a hobby or just as a little bit of extra money every month, then doing an hour a day just doing your DMO every day and not doing anything extra is also going to help. But I think having a list of like specific tasks, even for people who are just doing it for a hobby, will help you be more structured and will make you feel like you're actually doing what you should be doing. And of course, then if you want to do a lot more because you want to get a lot further in the business, then it's about squeezing every little time that you possibly have, because that's your biggest goal to achieve.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it needs water. Yeah, I completely agree. And like, I just think when I'm thinking, oh my God, like I don't, if I ever think I don't have enough time, or I'm like, I wish I could do more, I always think about like me on the stage telling my story and being able to say, look, I was like busy, really busy, and I'm here today and I've like achieved my goal. So I always try and think about that, and it perks you right up, because how exciting that the busiest person ever, because we're always the busiest person ever ourselves, did this, like, and now I'm not the busiest person ever because I can do what I want. So yeah, just an ending note, like always try and think about, you know, you telling your story one day and how massive that is, that you change that, and then you can help someone that is in your position, and you can be like, well, yeah, I used to be like that, not having like half an hour to spare, And look at me now. So yeah, that's the end of it for me. And she said goodbye, so she's got no more extra to add, so that's cool. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'll speak to you all soon, probably in like 5 minutes. Bye.